go. Can everybody hear?
Oh, that is weird.
Yeah. There's a weird feeling.
Yes.
What, your voice?
First timer?
Yeah, I have not experienced this, but cool.
I always tell people, or I'm going to start telling people. I say I always tell. I already started off with a lie. I always tell people. My daughter would be like, "You don't ever say that."
I've never heard you say that.
Well, I'm going to start saying it. Yeah. No, is get in, right? Because when you put these headphones, you feel like you're getting into something, like a booth or something, right? Like a sound booth. You feel like you're, I feel like you're connected in. Can I hear you?
Yeah.
Stephen?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I'm here. I just took the first sip of this beer.
Don't tell anybody. We're supposed to cheers, right?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, come on. All right.
You started off this thing before.
I did say we were rolling, so he
that's
took
true.
that as a cue, but we're good. That was a perfect intro, actually. Cheers, guys.
Right, cheers.
We are here in Gilbert at where you're transplanted back into the Pacific Northwest, however. Not only with what our background is and the smell of cheeses, right, and the chocolates and
Many cheeses.
the beers. We're here at Wicked Rain.
Yeah.
Dude, thanks for joining us on the show. And who are you?
We're glad you're here. We've been wanting you here for a while, so this is great for us as well. My name's Tony Newman. My wife and I own Wicked Rain.
Yeah.
We opened this, end of March, so about 8 months.
This year?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're just getting moving, but
Not too far away from the 1 year.
we're getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes me nervous, but
Nervous? Why? Because you're going to have to throw a big
yeah,
shindig for
because
it?
then there's responsibilities, right?
Expectations,
we gotta
man.
make stuff happen and do fun things, and that's great, but it's a lot of pressure. And
Sure.
anxiety comes along.
Yeah.
But
Well, we're going to run you through the ringer on the show.
All first birthdays. Lots of pressure.
Yeah, right? I remember my kid's first joint birthday because they're 2 years apart and the family coming in town. I got hammered on mimosas. So learning a lesson, right? Pace yourself on it. So that's the lesson, right? First, don't get hammered on mimosas for your first anniversary.
yeah, I don't drink those, but good lesson for sure. Yeah.
Well, so Tony, where are we exactly in Gilbert? What are the cross streets?
So we are Baseline and Gilbert.
Okay.
We're in the Township Plaza kind of
Okay.
complex. So
By
we got
Fry's?
a Fry's right next to us. Yeah. So we got a lot of people going to Fry's and stopping on their way back and on their way too. So
I love it. And I was telling Eric, the reason we're down here is this is one of my favorite spots to stop as I'm running errands. I'm an east side guy. Everybody knows Eric's a north side guy.
Yeah.
But I come in here, first time I came in, and I was like, this is a beautiful spot. The mural. We've got the pint glass lounge, as you call it.
Yep.
That just looks stunning when you walk in, and you got just everything is really well put together. But I want to know the story behind the pint glass lounge.
Yeah, I looked up and I was like, what the heck is that?
So, I mean, I've been collecting pint glasses for 20 years ish.
Yeah.
And, every time we move homes, I'm taking all these stupid pint glasses with me.
Yeah, I know this story. It's similar.
Yeah, and it's just getting more massive and more massive. And so, I think when we finally decided we wanted to do something like this, we needed to figure out a way to get these out of the house and bring it to
There's a reason you were collecting them, right?
There was.
Yeah.
I mean, from pretty early on, we knew we were going to do something.
Yeah.
And we knew we were going to share these with everybody. And there's a lot of history up there because a lot of these places are not around anymore.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool when I get people from, the Northwest and they see some of these old breweries that they used to visit that aren't around anymore. But essentially, I mean, it's every brewery that I've ever visited that sells a traditional pint glass from the Pacific Northwest or Arizona.
I know that's the addiction of going to breweries or visiting shops is bringing home the glassware. But then after a while, you start realizing, okay, where do I put it?
Yeah.
Well, I started with,
I
got into a growler thing for a hot minute, and that got to be too much space.
Yeah,
and so
for sure.
Stop that. So, I mean, I probably got 5 at home, and that's, where we're going to stick. But, these, we didn't really know how we were going to incorporate it into the bar, but we were talking to the architect, and they said, well, why don't we put them in, a chandelier or something?
Yeah.
So they had connections with this great place up in Scottsdale that does custom work.
Yeah, you might have to tell them. I'm looking at it. All 3 levels are completely filled. So you might be calling them soon for a 4th.
Well, so I do have room. We have filled the spaces with Wicked Rain glasses,
Nice.
and there's a couple Seahawk glasses.
Oh,
up
okay.
there,
Okay.
too. So
Some placeholders.
correct. So unless you're studying it, you're really not going to see
Yeah.
it. But yeah, I have got.
Thanks, Steven.
Probably. Don't look too hard. But there's like 6 or 7 in the back that I need to get up there and stuff. But yeah, they built this chandelier, and it just worked out great. And you can actually rent out the lounge beneath it. So if you have a party,
Ooh.
you know, a little something going on, yeah, you'll get
Reading material.
Correct. You get table service.
Yeah.
You know, so it's pretty.
Oh, nice.
Pretty swanky.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Right in the center there too. I like that. The whole space is it's just a beautiful space. And I didn't even really spend any time outside. Right, you have this huge garage door that opens up for, I can say, people that are not watching the video, but even the people watching the video can't see it. So
Yeah, it's, the garage door was really important. It's very brewery esque.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I knew that we needed to have a garage door in some capacity. This was all just pane glass, so we tore that out, put a big ass garage door there, and so when that's open, it's a real, you know, fluid indoor-outdoor experience.
Yeah.
It all just seems like one big open space. You know, this outdoor bar area sink thing. I mean, this really was inspired by a lot of the breweries in Arizona
Okay.
that have this fantastic outdoor space. So we really wanted to highlight that here.
Yeah.
Take advantage of the sun and
heck yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
can't really do that too much in Seattle.
Yeah, and we are
inside.
entering prime patio weather season too.
For sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is a great spot to catch a couple pints on the patio while you're running.
I'm
Supposed to
telling
be
you, when
running
the
errands.
weather's nice, it is way more full out there than it is in here. So you'll come out here and you'll think it's empty. Everybody's outside.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's super cool. The lighting's on point. I mean, we really spent a lot of time making sure that felt really homey and cozy and
Yeah.
stuff. So just got our heaters out there for the chill. So
I
excited
see.
about that.
It's the contrasting of Arizona, though, right? I see a mister and a heater
Yep.
within like
It's
2
a
feet
Mister
of each
fan
other.
and then a heater right next to it. So
Exactly.
we're prepared.
Sometimes you use them both in the same day, right? That's the weird
Sometimes.
transition months.
Correct.
I love that, but I love the outdoor bar kind of thing, right? Where you can open up those doors and sit at the bar,
Yeah.
where you're inside, but you're still kind of outside.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, my wife is like, she will be out in the middle of a field, no shade. I'm like, I need shade.
Yeah.
I'm a big dude, like I need a little bit of shade, right? So that's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't sit in the sun either. So
Yeah.
we got the shades that come down because we're facing west, so the sun does blast you for about 20 minutes. But we try and keep that at bay
Yeah.
the best we can. So, but yeah, it's a shaded patio, and everybody seems to gravitate outdoors. We got little fire pits in the corners, so it's kind of cozy for the folks that just want to, you know,
I'd say really
pretend
not
they're camping.
As I'm looking around and you keep thinking about it, it's like there's not a bad seat in the house. You could be hanging out at
Yeah.
the pint glass lounge, or you could be on the patio looking in at the beautiful mural. There's like kind of these Godfather-esque booths.
Oh yes,
And-
I
up
like
against
those.
all-
Yeah. Uh huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very it's spaced out very nicely.
I love
Spaced-
it.
Well, let's back up a little bit. So, where are you from? Where are you from originally?
From Seattle.
From Seattle. Okay.
Moved here about 4 years ago.
Your wife as well.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
originally from the Philippines.
Okay.
She moved when she was 12 or
Okay.
something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I grew up in Seattle.
Gotcha. You guys met in Seattle then? Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the path? Like, what was before?
We were in
Yes.
banking together.
Okay.
So we were both personal bankers, and we ended up working at the same spot one day, and
Yeah.
gravitated to each other. and,
Yeah. Was
yeah.
beer involved? Was beer as far
Beer's
as love
always
of beer?
involved with me.
Sure. Yeah.
She ironically doesn't drink.
Okay,
Which is
okay.
why she's kind of the business end of this and I'm
sure.
the beer end.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's a good yin to yang, right?
It
I
is.
mean,
It really
you
is.
know.
Yeah. So I think if we were both, consuming all the time, not as much would get done.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of stuff gets pushed till tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like the three of us each have counterparts that keep us from
100%. 100%.
So, like in banking, and did you like it? Like, did you like the path that you were on, or were you always kind of?
Banking, yeah. I started in banking when I was 20.
Okay.
And I went as far as I wanted to go. I got into personal banking, then got into home loans and mortgages and all that kind of stuff, and then ended up opening a mortgage company. But it just really wasn't fulfilling for me. So
Okay.
to answer your question, no, I didn't really like my path.
Yeah.
She continued on and ended up being a vice president at Wells Fargo.
Oh,
and
nice.
Basically went as high as you could possibly go.
Yeah.
Until she, burned out and got sick of the whole thing. Because it's a lot of responsibility when you
Sure.
got, 11 branches and 100 plus employees, and
Yeah.
it's just an enormous amount of stress. So she was able to take a step back. At that point, we were married, and then I had transitioned into the car business, which is where I had been prior to opening this for the last 20 years.
Okay.
So we were able to bring her home and kind of rethink what her path is going to be, and I continued on in the car business for 20 years.
Being a fan of craft beer the whole time, like
100%.
Were you like I know the answer for him and I, but anywhere I go on a trip, it's like I have to hit at least these 3 places.
Yeah.
If not 20.
She knows that.
Yeah.
I do have to intertwine that with things for her. So
Sure.
I'm like, on the way to that store that you want to go to, we're going to make a quick stop right here.
We are so
it's
like
very carefully planned.
Yeah.
It's never all about me. It's always about both of us. So I try and be very strategic about it.
That's the key,
She's
man.
totally got me figured out.
Yeah.
She's like, I know what you're doing. Yeah.
That is a good point, because I feel like we don't. It's not that we do it differently because we think it's the right thing. We know we're going to get in trouble if we don't, right?
Yeah.
But it's you bring up a good point. It's very important when you're going somewhere to experience these new breweries.
Yeah.
That's huge for me. And for me to go to a new state or something and not visit these places and not Google my list and put a strategy together it just wouldn't feel right.
I find it just so like experiencing the culture of a particular area. If you're going on vacation and you're like, oh, I want to check out the breweries. Yeah, you're checking out the breweries, but you're also seeing how people live their lives day to day. What's the customer service like? What's the story of the brewery?
Yeah.
Because everything is so unique, and it kind of just helps paint a better picture of what your vacational experience is like. At least this is how I pitch it.
I'm
right?
in. I'm in.
Yeah, right? Like, heck yeah. On our way to this antique shop, there's this beautiful brewery on the way.
Yeah. I think they have antique things.
Yeah.
There was an antique thing you could take
Cool.
a picture with.
You're just gonna drop me off now. Okay, that's good. Yeah.
We've done that before, so that works pretty well sometimes. The drop off.
But the old drop off. Yeah.
Take your time, honey. Yeah, I'll be fine. Yeah, don't worry about me.
But it's a good point, though, because to me, I've found, and I actually heard somebody talking about this one day, is they were talking, just overheard this conversation. They were saying when they go to a new town, they check out the breweries and they get the best suggestions for coffee, pizza, breakfast, all that kind of stuff, right? They're not, it's not the concierge necessarily, that's saying, oh, you should go to this place because we have this connection with them. It's like, no, this is, these are the coolest spots.
Right. And it's not always about the beer. I mean, it's like you said, it's about the experience. I want to see and experience these places. I really don't care if the beer's not that great.
Right.
Sure.
I'm gonna drink it anyway.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
I want to sit there. I want to talk to the guys, and I want to just experience the whole culture.
Yeah.
That isn't necessarily next door to me.
Yeah, I don't want to drive into San Diego and go eat at Olive Garden and have Denny's for breakfast. You know what I mean? It's like you go out and you want to experience what people are passionate about, and that's local small businesses and breweries.
And it gives you an idea too, especially with breweries themselves. It gives you a little bit of an insight into like kind of the agricultural scene, right? If they're like, oh, on our menu we have this burger that is, fed from the grains that we use, our spent grains. You can kind of get a little bit of an idea. Oh, yeah, they use prickly pear a lot. Must be prevalent in this area,
The story's important.
Once again, this is all just us telling ourselves so we can just keep drinking beer. I love it. But speaking of this, what is this? This is fantastic, man. Very good.
I'm in love with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Since the first premature sip I took before the cheers.
Yeah, and I actually believe you guys. I don't think you're just horsing around here. This is good. I think it's certainly the best IPA we've had.
And this is one of your babies. This is a collaboration.
Yeah,
beer.
so our buddies up at Stoop in Seattle, we've known them for 9 years, since before they opened.
Yeah.
And our first goal in bringing beer from the Northwest to Arizona was to get Stoop here. So we did that, and just got to talking, and it's like, well, what if we get together and do a beer?
Yeah.
And I just thought that would be too hard, because obviously they're in Washington and we're here.
Yeah.
But we made it happen. Yeah. So we flew up. I put a recipe together with the head brewer, owner up there. It just worked out great. It's everything I wanted and more.
They nailed it.
Yeah. It's just a traditional Northwest IPA. The color's fantastic. Simcoe Mosaic Citra is prominent here. They use a little Columbus for bittering. simple grain bill. I mean, nothing too complicated, just real
Yeah.
simple and awesome.
Which is what is the epitome of great beer, right?
Yeah.
Simplicity.
Just-
Yeah, I mean, you throw too much crap in there. I mean, it gets to...
Yeah, it's just a classic home run on the Northwest style.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Stoop, and what is the name of this one?
Stupidly wicked.
I love it. That's
good. Yeah.
Stupidly.
Yeah.
And you were saying one of your goals was to bring them in here, and there are, it's to my back, but there's multiple Stoop.
Yeah, a lot of
beers
that
here.
is their fresh hop. So the fresh hop harvest is, traditionally mid-August, early September. And my biggest goal in getting them was to make sure I can get their fresh hop beer here from Washington.
Yeah.
And, they're right next door to Yakima, 3 hours away. So they actually went to more farms, I think, than anybody else. So they have a ton of varieties. I made sure to get them all, and
Yeah.
I wanted to share them with everybody and let them taste the difference and kind of give the backstory of what fresh hop is and what it's mean to me.
Yeah.
So that's why you see them so prominently displayed there. But we've gotten a few different breweries now from Washington down here, which is not easy, by the way.
Sure. Yeah.
But we've done it. We've done it legally.
Yeah.
It just takes some time.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
That's right.
I want to point out too that you had mentioned there's multiple Stoop beers in here, and I told you this is one of my stop throughs, and just to give a shout out to your beer tenders and to let people know that you have people behind your bar too that are super passionate and knowledgeable. Because I came in here and I asked the beer tender, I said, hey, what's good here? What's going on? What's new? She told me about the fresh hop series from Stoop, poured a couple samples, ultimately ended up giving me a flight, told me what her favorite was, and she knew more about beer than I did, which is great because I don't, educate me. When I show up to a place, it's an awesome experience to have. So I think that's a highlight of your venue as well, is that you have such great staff members that know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
It's not just pouring beer.
We
Yeah, that's a
employ
good
beer
point.
lovers,
Yeah.
So, and they're not too douchey about it. And they,
That's important.
Yeah.
That is
they
important.
don't, try
Absolutely.
and, make it look like they know more than you. But if you want a suggestion, if you
Yeah.
want an opinion, then they'll be happy to give it. And they'll be
Yeah.
happy to share, why they think this certain way or, why these ingredients are, something that they like and why they think you'll enjoy it. They'll usually ask for a little feedback from you first to kind of see where your head's at and what you want to drink.
Yeah.
And then they'll take it from there. So
But I
we've been
think
very
that's,
blessed with
that's
great
so
people.
important in a tap room that you've got, 40 different taps.
Yeah.
So you come
Yeah.
in and, let's break down the styles, but you have someone who can lead you in the right direction as far as what your experience is. Some days you want to experiment. Some days you want your favorite style, and
Something clean, something. So I just
they
want
can
to
provide that.
And that's why we
Yeah.
got so many darn taps, is
Yeah.
because I want to have a different style for everybody. 'Cause
Yeah.
you've got your fruity people and your I drink Coors Light people, and so and your IPA guys. So we need to make sure we have all of those bases covered.
Yep.
We may not have 10 fruity beers, but we'll certainly have an option or two for you. Ciders.
Yeah, I was
we
going to
got,
say, I did see Six Bird Cider
meat
Co.
up there. I got
too.
root
Ooh,
beer.
yeah.
But you're primarily West Coast IPAs is generally going to be your first 9 to 11 taps, and that's why I wanted to add another 30 behind it for everybody else. Because those first
Yeah.
are all for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And those are the ones that I wanted to see at tap rooms around town that I haven't been able to.
Yeah.
I've got 50 different hazy options and 50 different sours, and I want a good West Coast IPA.
Yeah.
That's what I want. So I'm going to have the best variety of West Coast IPAs out of anybody.
I
Still
love
going to
that.
have the hazies, still going to have,
Mm-hmm.
other stuff, but I'm going to have the best. So
So that's how I
that's-
love you guys, because
Yeah.
that is my preferred style right now.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is it's a great place to have right in my backyard. So
Thank you.
Well, it highlights the my experience with beer scenes is pretty much limited to Arizona, right? When I go on vacation places, I know a little bit. I've explored probably Denver the most, but I'm always trying to differentiate. Like, what is different about Denver? And I notice with Denver, there's a lot of like wild ales or spontaneous fermentation, which I really love. Right? You don't see that a lot here, but the number of fresh hop beers that Stoop has tells you like they're in the
That's
cradle
their
of
deal.
hops or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Whatever you call it.
When Yakima's your neighbor, it's really
Yeah,
easy to.
yeah. Well, it's like, okay, when a brewery comes out with a fresh hop IPA or a fresh hop beer, you're like, oh, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
When they come out with one,
Correct.
right? You've got 6, 7 of them, 8, right?
I've got 11 on draft right now.
11. Well,
Yes.
8 of them are just from Stoop
Yeah,
themselves.
correct.
From
Yeah.
the same brewery. That
And
is
then we've
impressive.
gotten as many as we could from
Yeah.
Arizona. But, I mean, it is a whole different animal when you're doing, a fresh hop beer in Arizona. Because
Yeah.
you're overnighting those hops,
For sure.
from Yakima or wherever, and they got to get them into the kettle within 24 hours. So it's
Yeah.
expensive. It's a pain in the ass. And it's no wonder that maybe you get one a year.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I commend the guys that have done it because that's a big commitment on their part to be able to do that once a year.
We're talking about vacations. I just got the idea of what this concept that you've created here is this is a vacation away in your own hometown. So anybody who's from Arizona, you can basically be teleported to a Pacific Northwest brewery scene here. You guys have got the cheeses, you got the pizza, or I'm sorry, not the pizza. I'm on my brain.
Flatbreads.
The flatbreads.
That's a pizza guy right
Yeah.
there. He has to
You are a pizza
differentiate
guy.
between the two. Well, I'm sorry to offend anybody. This is a flatbread.
But you got the cheese, you got the beer here of the Pacific Northwest, and the vibe with the industrial look and the pint lounge. I think it's an incredible experience for people.
And on
to
the
come
flip
out
side,
Yeah.
you have the home away from home from the people that are from Washington
Yeah.
that are visiting or
Can find comfort
snowbirding.
here, yeah.
Yep.
And they can come back and they can get their clam chowder and they can get, their Seattle dog or whatever. So they've got a home here that isn't necessarily at their house in Seattle.
Yeah. Do
Yeah.
you ever turn on like Sounds of the Rain on Spotify here, just so people can feel more comfortable?
No,
I think
but we
so.
do,
That's good.
post when it's raining outside and like, look, we told you we're bringing the rain. Yeah.
Well, and when the music, I mean, it's a subtle thing, right? But I already heard, Chris Cornell. I heard Stained, which is very depressing, right? So
Yeah, I mean, we try and keep it grungy here,
Yeah.
within the theme. But yeah, there was a point where I was doing only Pacific Northwest music, and I had about 1,100 songs. And after about 3 months in, we were
Yeah.
like, okay,
Here it is again.
let's mix it up a taste.
Yeah.
I can only listen to so much Heart, So
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's you'll definitely hear Nirvana and
Yeah.
a lot of Soundgarden here and that kind of stuff.
Well, was that just to kind of go off topic? I rarely go off topic, but for somebody who grew up in Seattle,
I rolled my eyes when he said he goes off topic rarely.
at least I admit to it rarely. Yes. But so growing up in Seattle with the grunge scene, right? I mean, I just by looks alone, I can tell you and I are about the similar age, right? The grunge scene. What was that like?
Yeah.
Were you a
I remember
grunger?
getting a cassette tape from a buddy of mine in college with these guys high-fiving on the front, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And I played it, I'm like, this is garbage. Like, nobody's ever gonna buy this. This is not heavy. This is not. And then 3 weeks later is my favorite band. So Pearl Jam 10, obviously, iconic album.
Yeah.
And then from there, because I was always into heavy music.
Okay.
Embarrassingly, but
Like
and
like
it's-
thrash metal, like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was into I was into like Pantera and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and I got into like DSI. Like that was kind of the it was like, dang, that's dark.
So
that's dark. I know. I felt that was the path.
Yeah,
you
so
were
that
down.
never went away. But I did take a turn with the grunge because I mean with Nirvana and Alice in
Yeah.
Chains and that kind of stuff. I mean, it was just so good, and it was so heavy in the right way.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a direct line to what I was normally listening to. It was outside of the box a little bit, and I just fell in love with all of it. So
Yeah.
I even have Pearl Jam on my mural back here. So
Nice.
But, yeah.
Well, I love the mural. Let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
Like that is a beautifully made mural.
Yeah, my niece is a graphic designer, and we kind of told her the imagery and the ideas that we wanted in there. So after about 10 different revisions of different things, she was able to put this together for us, and then we had a local guy install it for us. But yeah, it's got a little bit of everything. So it's kind of a progression from Arizona to the Northwesty deal, but you got little bits and pieces of things that are still around, some that aren't, some that only people my age would recognize. But it's pretty striking when you first walk in, certainly if you're from the Northwest.
I've looked at it multiple times, but I'm catching just little subtleties in there. Like I see the Nike check under the Tillamook cheese sign. I'm like, that's right, Nike's based
Oregon.
out of
Oh yeah,
Oregon,
yeah.
Right?
Rainier Mountain, of course.
Yeah, the one that really throws people is the bubble. So back in the World's Fair, when they built the Seattle Center, they had the center house, which was right in the middle of it, and they used to have an elevator that would go up and down one floor, and it would carry like 100 plus people in this elevator, and it was a big ass bubble.
Yeah, just a bubble.
And my parents used to take me there, I think early 80s, and I just always wanted to go in the bubble, because it would just go up real slow and go down real slow. But so that's the bubble later. That's what they call it.
The bubble later.
The bubble later from the Seattle Center. Back in the day, they don't have that anymore. And then we've got a couple clowns inside.
I was going to say, what are the clowns?
So
clowns
PBS,
me
I
out,
think
man.
every Sunday, I used to watch JP Patches and his sidekick Gertrude. So they're floating in the bubble later on the Puget Sound.
Yeah.
So
I love. Well, before we got to take a break here in a second, get some refills. But there's so much more to talk about. That wall itself and everything. It's just. I don't know if you guys did this or you had a designer, but the way that everything just flows together, like this is beautifully done. It really is. Like you do just the color tones alone take you to somewhere you feel 5 degrees cooler.
And
you know?
yeah.
The subtlety too. We haven't even, the subtleties of everything being wrapped together. It frustrated me a little bit when we came in here. The last time, I think the Cardinals just lost to the Seahawks, but I look at the tap handles and I'm like, the tap handles are Seahawk colors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, it's just what you guys have done here to, I'll say it again, to bring in people of Arizona, give them the Pacific Northwest feel, or people who want to come in here and have a piece of home here. It's incredible what you guys have done from every little nuance. Even if it is Seahawk colored tap handles.
Thank you for noticing. Everything you're looking at has had a lot of thought put into it. So we didn't throw anything together here. It was a long time in the planning. So my wife is responsible for like 99% of it. So.
They usually are. They usually are.
They
Yeah.
usually are.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, you can be responsible for getting us another beer.
Absolutely. 100%.
We'll pause here for a second, and we'll be back because I've got so many questions. I want to talk about that, which I think is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. You see these things on beer menus, ABV, IBUs. You rarely see SRM, but what a fun way to kind of play that out, and we'll get that in a second.
Perfect.
But let's get another fresh hop beer.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
Sure,
Yes.
yeah. Well, we have our second beer of the day.
Number 2,
Who does number
is,
2 work for? Which is actually number 4.
the single hop Citra.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is the Fresh Hop Fiend from Stoop.
And none of us have tried this yet, right?
You cannot get this anywhere but here.
I was joking because Steven already tasted it.
No, I didn't. I learned my lesson the first time.
Cheers, man.
That's what we're talking about. You're watching a growth process here. Okay?
You're doing great.
I learned,
You're
yes.
doing great, yes. So, okay, so this is, what did you call it? The what of hops?
Oh, man.
This is the
Steven?
Fresh Hop Fiend from Stoop up
But-
in
God, that's good.
Ballard.
He called Citra the what? Because everybody talks about
It's
Citra,
like the
right?
Citrus, in my opinion, of the experiences I've had with craft beer, which is drinking a lot of it and talking to people about it. But Citra seems to be like the MVP or like the most valuable or the most people put it on a pedestal. The Citra.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not because it's citrus. It's the name of the hop, but it's just the aroma is intoxicating. The flavor is amazing. That's why everybody kind of gravitates to this hop, but it just really pulls everything together, and you can never go wrong. If you see Citra on that menu, I would just order it.
Or single hop Citra. I know anytime I see single
If
hop
you really
Citra, I'm
want to
just like,
taste what Citra is, single hop Citra. Would be.
So these are all these fresh hops are single hop,
They use
or that's just kind of like the highlight.
So the hop that you're seeing displayed is the fresh hop.
Okay.
There might be something else in there for bittering purposes or
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
But it's the star of the
But the
mix.
star is gonna, then the fresh hop will be the one that's listed on there. So this one is the Citra.
999 IBUs.
Yeah,
It says, yeah. I was looking at like, wow, all of them.
I'm told that you cannot measure IBUs on a fresh hop beer, so Untapped doesn't really.
I would
allow
say
you
it's
to
not
put 0 on
overpoweringly
anything,
bitter at all.
No.
I think there's I still need to learn more about IBUs because I've talked to people about that, right? Like the Lost Highway Double Black IPA,
Which I
right?
just got. Yeah,
You
love
just
that beer.
Yeah, that was one of the ones that really got me into this whole thing. Was like,
Yeah.
dude, like this is incredible. There's depth to it, and then you start learning about Mother Road and the story. But the IBUs on that's like 100.
Yeah.
Right. You don't think of that as a hoppy beer, but it's the
way they put it all together. It's a good 100.
yeah. What's a perceived bitterness and all that
Yeah.
shit that I don't know about? I need to learn more, dude.
You could be a cicerone.
Yeah.
Cicerone?
I'm a certified beer server, which I barely made, but that's how I've made it through life. It's barely making it, but I made it. So no, this is incredible to have all of these, and I would recommend this to anybody. And I saw you had it. This has been going on for about 3 weeks now. The Fresh Hop Fest.
I got big kegs of it.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I didn't want to I just didn't want it to go away. I just want to have it for as long as I could. And I knew once we kick these kegs, that I'll never get it back for till next year. So I just wanted to embrace this for as long as possible.
So this is a destination for you guys. If you're listening to this, and I told them, I'm like, this might not be out for a month, so it might all be gone by then. But
we'll
keep
see
an
how it
eye.
goes. But
Keep an eye on these guys.
We've got
'cause they're doing
11
some shit.
left right now. I think we started with about 18 fresh hop beers.
Okay.
I don't know of anybody else that's doing that. It was important to me that we had the most fresh hop beers in Arizona. I don't know why that was a big deal for me, but I needed to do that.
Yeah.
And it was a personal goal of mine opening this place, and I think we hit the mark.
Absolutely.
Nailed it,
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So okay, so we'll back up a little bit. Let's talk about so you guys were kind of questioning your path a little bit, right? Kind of figuring out where you guys are going to go career wise, and right, where did it come up? You know what? Let's. Well, how did you get to Arizona? Let's start with that.
So my father, always looking for the perfect place to live. I mean, that was just what he did all through his life. And he would travel to different places, Mexico, and he found Arizona, Prescott in particular, to be the best all-around climate. So his plan was to move there one day, but his step one was to just get to Arizona. So he moved to Sun Lakes 10 plus years ago, and we would fly down to visit him, and we would come down all the time. And the more we came down, the more we just kind of fell in love with Arizona. Growing up in the Northwest, you wake up to gray skies, it's constant drizzle. I didn't know that there was anything else out there.
Sure.
And then I would come down here and I would stay for a week. I'm like, my whole outlook has changed.
The
You
climate,
wake up
the climate
with
stability
the blue
here.
sky every day.
Yeah.
Who does that?
Yeah.
I could live here. So, we said one day we're going to move there. And it just happened sooner than later. And the kids were on board. We bribed them with a pool, which most people do when they're moving from Washington. I'm like, if you come with us and we rip you out of high school, at least you have a pool. And they're like, we're in.
Yeah.
About 4 years ago, we moved down, but it was because of my dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting that he found,
the place.
because I've heard that before. I've heard, there's all of these lists of this and that. I know Reader's Digest named the town next to the town I grew up in as the best place to live in the country.
Yeah.
They didn't mention my town, which was do not go east. Don't go east into East Palestine. But I've heard that about Prescott. It's that balance of it. I actually read something where the ideal climate in the U.S. is in Yuma. It's as far as the temperatures and all this stuff.
Yuma.
Yeah, I've driven through it, but that's where there's that asterisk climate alone.
Fun little story.
Climate alone.
Climate alone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Coach in high school sports, we've been out to Yuma. Fun little story. Their high school is the Yuma Criminals because part of their high school is in the old prison.
The old prison, Prison Hill. Well, the brewery is Prison Hill.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's smart.
So, anyways,
But there's a cop car that'll drive around the track on Friday nights for football and stuff. It's wild. It's different. It's different.
It's different.
It's
Yeah.
different.
Well, so Prescott, I've heard that just that balance of because it gets that winter, you get the frost, you get that cold in the morning, but then it's 55 degrees out at noon and you're sitting on the patio in a t-shirt and jeans drinking a beer.
Yeah.
It's that balance.
Yeah.
So he knew what the hell. So that's interesting out of all the places because it doesn't sound like it's he found his favorite in Arizona. He found it everywhere. He looked everywhere.
He looked everywhere, and he said out of all the places that he had been to over the years, this was the spot. So his home base, his setup was Sun Lakes, and then he would go up to Prescott and look at different properties, and okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Ultimately stayed in Sun Lakes.
Yeah.
It was just probably too much of a pain in the ass.
Sure. Yeah. But it's close enough, right?
Yeah. I mean, what is it? hour and a half, 2 hours, something.
Where is Sun Lakes? I was acting the whole time like I knew Sun Lakes.
Northwest Valley.
We're south of Chandler.
Oh,
I mean,
yep.
it's just
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Close to here.
Close to here.
Close to here, yeah.
Probably 20 minutes to Sun Lakes.
So, so you guys decide to move out, right? Banking, still in the banking realm.
No. I was in the car business.
The car business, yes.
Yeah, and then she was working for her father at the time, and then once we decided to move out, she left there and then started working here as a business manager for a furniture store.
Okay.
And I started working at a local dealership here, which is, it's very easy to find a dealership spot.
Sure.
We had no concerns about finding a job here, so I knew if we moved down here, I could get a job in 5 minutes, which I did. And so we just continued to do that, and we just decided, this is the best place to kind of do what I always wanted to do, which was be in this business in some way. I'm the typical guy that's been home brewing for, in his kitchen for 10 years.
Yeah.
Always had the dream of a brewery. Do I want to invest my life savings into a brewery with my 5 recipes, or do I want to highlight everybody else's awesomeness and then maybe bring that Pacific Northwest amazing beer here and highlight that? What's the better business plan? And it kind of speaks for itself. So, brewery, maybe, but love this idea more right now for us.
And I love the sense of community you guys have created here, too. I was talking to Christine earlier, and we were talking about the Mug Club. Mm-hmm. You guys started a Mug Club here, and I think she said you guys sold out of the annual membership of the Mug Club in like 3 days. And I'm like, to be embraced by your surrounding community, that had to have been like, yeah, we're in the right spot.
Well, I mean, a lot of that is true. I would say 3 days since we opened, but what you didn't know is we sold the first half before we opened. So these are people that were just trusting in what we were going to be and what we were going to offer. And I didn't think anybody would buy any, honestly, because you very rarely see mug clubs down here, certainly at tap rooms. But in Washington, I mean, every brewery's got a mug club.
Yeah.
It's just the deal, You're a Mug Club member if you're lucky enough to get in.
Yeah.
And I was a member at one point. I think 3 or 4 different Mug Clubs, and you walk in there like you're the man.
Yeah.
Like I'm a boss.
That's mine on the wall over there.
Yeah.
Stiff arm babies.
40.
And shout out to Marty and Lord Bryce. Your mugs are famous right now.
Lord Bryce, what a name to pick, right?
So you get an extra 3.5 ounces. You get your name engraved on there. If you opt not to renew, you get to take the mug home. You get the special Brew Army T-shirt. You get discounts. You get to go to VIP events, that kind of thing. So it's fun, man.
Yeah.
And we sold out right after we opened. We got a waiting list of another 60 people. I had to cut off the waiting list. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
That's awesome.
People keep saying, well, just add more mugs. I'm like, I don't want a whole bar of mugs.
Right.
For sure.
There's a certain spot. There's a certain, you want to make people want it a little bit.
Yeah,
so you can't have 500 mugs.
It's not a club if everybody's in it.
Right.
Exactly. Yep.
So, but yeah, it's been working out great, and our regulars are fantastic, and our Mug Club guys, and they were on our. We brought a couple of them in for our Fox 10 news shoot, and they were our props. But they're game for anything. Our Mug Clubbers our Brew Army guys. Yeah, they're game for anything. So.
Well, I love too, like we were talking, I was going to point this out earlier, is that SRM chart, right? So it's rare that you actually see SRM on a draft list, right? So what was the reason first of all, for putting that?
So have you ever gone into a brewery or a tap room and looked at a description of a beer that you've never had before, and it looks amazing, and they pour it for you, and $8 later you have a beer in your hand, and they're like, this isn't what I was thinking this was going to be.
Yes, I have been there.
Okay.
Yeah. Why is this
to
Pilsner black?
All
or whatever?
the time.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure that people understood what they were getting into when they ordered the beer. So there was no mystery. I want you to know what the color is, what the bitterness is going to be. I want you to know what the ABV is going to be.
Yeah.
And that SRM chart, standard reference method, is something that I can't speak for brewers, but at least home brewers, we use that to understand what color our beer is going to be when we're done.
Yeah.
And so every menu item that I have up there next to the IPUs, I have the SRM numbers. So you can look at the number, you can match it up to the wall, and you can see exactly what your color is going to be.
Yeah.
So there's no mystery. You're never going to say, this is not what I wanted.
Yeah.
And of course, I always drink the beer anyways. I mean, nobody doesn't drink the beer, but I mean, it's nice to know exactly what you're going to get.
Yeah.
And I wanted to give that to people because that was something I was always missing when I went to a tap room or
Sure.
brewery or something like that.
Get a raspberry sour, right? And you're like, why is it 48?
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you know you're into it, like, okay, all right, cool. This is gonna be a little bit different.
Like when I order my West Coast IPAs, I know where I want it to be, and my head understands where it should be.
Correct.
And there's a lot of
But now
places
there's
out there that
the new age West Coast where it's like, wait a second, this is more hazy.
Yeah, if you have a hazy and it's a number 1, we're not talking the same language. So I just wanted to make sure everybody knew what they were getting.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I told you the Pacific Northwest, this IPA style is my favorite at the moment,
Yeah.
but I have been duped by seeing on a can or in a brewery where it says West Coast Pale Ale
All the time.
and you pour it and you're just
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
nope.
I'm not going to name any names, but there's a couple
Psych.
coming to mind that
Yeah.
do that to me every time. So I've learned, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's great for the consumer to be able to come in here
Yeah.
and use that chart.
And it's very nerdy. I mean, 90% of the people don't look at that, but I mean, for that 10%, I want to make sure I got that for you because that's me.
I would have a fun time of like once I get it to match it up. Then
Yeah.
you could play a game of it. I was like, I'm not going to look at the SRM. Once you guess which one
You
it
should
is.
see me back in the cooler matching up all the SRMs because I mean, most of the time they don't put it in their description, so I've got to figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would challenge you to take the beer, hold it up, and see if I'm doing my job right.
Put them on blast.
Don't
too,
do it
for
on
sure.
camera.
Well, so Steven, right? This is one of your neighborhood spots, right?
This is it. This is it.
You're a food guy as well.
I am.
Pizza and flatbreads.
And
right?
flatbreads, yep. I heard that there's a cougar cheese. Tell me a little bit about the cougar.
What is
gold
cougar cheese?
Yeah, so it is something that's done, from my understanding, at Washington State University or the outskirts. You can only get it there.
Cougar, Washington
We have
State
it.
University. Got it.
We have it shipped in, and it's a real sharp white cheddar. That you can only get from there, and people from Washington love that stuff. And Cougar Gold, man, it comes in like big ass canisters. And every time we have some folks, come down from Seattle, we have them bring us some, and it's amazing, and it'll last forever. But yeah, the flavor is fantastic. So we have that on our Coug flatbread.
I love that.
What do you get here? What do you order when you come here?
So I do the flatbreads.
Okay.
Of course he does.
Exclusively,
What else is he gonna want?
I'm exclusively pizza or flatbreads, or any.
That's not true.
Any other form of shape of pizza, rolls, bagel bites,
Strombolis,
flatbreads.
Our wings are good.
Strombolis, calzones.
Yeah.
I do
You've had the
think
wings before, haven't
Yeah, I
you?
think one of my buddies who came in got the wings. I commandeered one.
Yeah.
Tried it. They're really good.
Yeah, the Marionberry is probably our most
I think that's
popular
what,
one.
I think that's what it was.
So
Well, what is it? Talk about the food menu a little bit. It is Pacific Northwest inspired as well.
yeah, I mean we're Pacific Northwest bar, so I mean it's all the way down to the decor, the bar top, the
What is the bar
tasters,
top?
and the food. I mean for sure.
The bar top, that's something that stood out to me when you have that what is
so
that, the live edge or
That's
whatever
a
they call
live edge bar top. We had that shipped down from a forest in Washington.
Nice.
And the first one they broke actually. So this is the second one. Came out a little darker, which is a lot cooler in my opinion. But not your standard bar top.
No.
But yeah, that's Washington for you. I mean, you're basically sitting at a tree in a forest.
So cool. I
I
didn't.
think it's from Tumwater. Yeah.
I tell you, the more and more I look around, it was like the bar top. Why are we looking? Oh, that's why we're looking at the bar top. Like the detail.
Yeah.
In this place is insane.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Thank you.
Well, you know what? That's a really good point because that's something that stuck out to me, and I meant to bring it up a couple times, and that kind of triggered this is the commitment to the concept. right? Because I feel like some places you can kind of go in with this, like, oh, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. It's going to be completely different. And you go in like, it's no different, right?
Yeah.
It's different logo, right?
Yeah.
But it's all just, it's the same thing, just kind of mixed up. This is different. Like this is
Everything
nice
here
job
has
of
a
committing
story.
to. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're majority Pacific Northwest. I mean, I can point to stuff and I can tell you about it, but yeah, a lot of the roots are all from Pacific Northwest, which is kind of highlighted in our logo, with the roots. Yeah, no, it's a lot of attention to make sure we're true to form.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be just a normal tap room. That was not exciting for me whatsoever. I wanted to be something that brought that Northwest experience here for everybody in Arizona to embrace, and people that are from there to be able to come and again feel like they're home away from home.
Yeah,
So,
and I think you guys have absolutely hit the mark, and this is I can't explain enough how much I like this place, and you guys have raised the bar for other tap rooms. You said you
no
wanted
pun intended.
raise the bar. Yes. I mean, it's you guys. When we go into tap rooms all over town, all over the state, and this is truly unique, and that's why it was so important for me to reach out to you guys and get Eric on board and be like, we got to come down here. We have to highlight Wicked Rain because it's built different, and I think it's a great way to show anybody else who's trying to get into the business of tap rooms is do it the right way or do it with passion. And you guys, in every single detail around this place, it is.
We were trying
stunning.
to do like a cross between a brewery and a swanky steakhouse.
Okay.
That was kind of our
Yeah.
deal. So when you come in at night, the lights are dim, we got the candles going, the bathroom's killer, the music's low. I mean, it's just a real cool, cozy, swanky experience. The couches are plush, so you're not coming into this loud, like, I'm sitting on, hard wood and it's bright and it's freaking loud. I mean, we just didn't want that. That's down the street.
Yeah.
We wanted to be something a little different. We're either the pre-party or the after-party.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we wanted to bring to people, and I think it worked out well.
Yeah.
And then it transitions to the outdoor too. So the outdoor patio, same way. With the fire pits and the lighting and that kind of stuff. So that was really important to us. We just didn't want to open up shop and have beer.
Yeah.
So.
I dig that.
Yeah.
So just the fact that you guys have Stoop, you got the fresh hops now, but year round you have Stoop exclusively in Arizona.
Yes,
right?
we have Stoop. We also have Black Raven, which just came down, which is huge in Washington.
Yeah.
Amazing brewery. We spent a lot of time with them up in Washington about a month ago. Bo, the owner, is fantastic. They really embraced us and showed us around. Crazy facility, 40,000 plus square feet, just ballers. But yeah, we spent the day with those guys, and their beer is fantastic. So we've got them rotating in as well. I think we've got a couple of theirs on draft right now. A lot of winter beer coming from them that we're going to be throwing on. So a lot of seasonal specialty stuff from Stoop and Black Raven. We've got 2 or 3 that have just gotten licensed that we're about ready to bring down.
Nice.
So we're excited about those guys.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of what we're doing. I mean, we're just contacting breweries. We're selling them the idea of what we're putting together here, and we're bringing them down.
Yeah.
We love the Arizona beer, so we want to make sure we highlight that too and give them their space on the board, because I love the breweries here. But getting those guys down here and really sharing that experience with Arizona is pretty much what we do all day.
Yeah. I do.
And I don't know of anybody else that does that, because
No.
like I said, it's a pain in the ass to do, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was about to bring up the food, and the perfect.
Oh yeah.
She's bringing the food out right now.
The food out.
So there's a couple things, quick questions, and we'll wrap this thing up because this has been incredible. But I'm gonna eat some of that food. So, what is Seattle style teriyaki? Because I love teriyaki. I didn't know there was a Seattle style.
So what we found here, one of the things when we first moved here, when we were visiting, was the teriyaki places here are kind of big chains. And in Washington, every corner has a mom and pop teriyaki
Okay.
spot. So, and you couldn't find that here, and we wanted to kind of replicate that because it had a certain style of chicken.
That's
it
it.
had a certain flavor of sauce. It had a certain dressing. It was served a certain way. So it's always served in the styrofoam.
That's the proper serving
Correct.
platter.
Yep, that's it. That's not to go. That's for here. So it doesn't taste the same if it's on a plate. It's got to be in the styrofoam.
Yeah.
The sauce is going to be a bit thicker. It's going to be a bit sweeter. Your dressing for the salad. Come on. Jeez.
I thought he was going to feed me. I thought he was going to baby bird me a little bit. But
But yeah, the folks from Seattle definitely know what the Seattle style is, and if you haven't had it, you'll be able to tell the difference from Arizona versus here. So we were doing it every day in the beginning, and then it got to be too cumbersome, and so we do Teriyaki Tuesdays now. So if you're sick of tacos, get teriyaki on Tuesdays.
That's really good.
It's good, right?
It's very good.
Let me get that middle piece.
Yeah, here,
right there.
give it a shot, Eric.
I see the this crust.
That is so good. Thank you.
Oh, geez. You're getting it. All right.
Oh, I'm messing around. Dang. That was good.
Right.
And I like the presentation of it and everything.
Yeah, that's half the battle right there is that presentation. You want to make sure you get that right. Because if we served it on a plate, it'd just be like anybody else's teriyaki.
See, that's good. And being a pizza flatbread guy, this would get my significant other in the door, too.
And we do sell out of it. So
Teriyaki Tuesdays.
we only make a certain
Teriyaki
amount
Tuesdays.
of portions. Yesterday we sold out about 6 o'clock. So
Okay.
get here early. if
I'll
you
make
can.
a couple phone calls, and then we'll get down here.
And we do take out. So if you want to grab a couple on your way home from
Yes.
work, we can do that for you.
That's my favorite is doing the takeout thing and just saying it's taking longer or forgetting to order until I get to the bar.
Well, you know how that works.
They lost my order,
You place your order 5 minutes away from the bar.
Yeah.
And then you come and you drink for half an hour.
Yeah.
Waiting. Honey, I'm waiting for the order.
Food's coming up.
I can't help how long it takes.
She's listening.
These are
We'll cut this part
secret. These
out.
are top secret.
That
husband.
every week.
Yes.
Oh, I'm in. Yeah.
It's the fresh hops, man.
We are-
Fresh hops. It's like truth serum. But no, Tony, nice job with this place, man. This is fantastic. Well, there was another thing I was going to ask you about. It was the chowder, right? Like, or no, the dog and the chowder.
Ivar's clam chowder.
Yeah.
We get that again.
Ira's?
Ivar's.
Ivar's. Okay, is that
Iconic
like a
clam chowder from Washington.
Yeah.
And then the Seattle dog. When you're drunk, Capitol Hill. Somewhere.
Seattle dog is cream cheese, right?
1 o'clock in the morning. There's always a dog cart out front somewhere. And Seattle dog is cream cheese, grilled onions, and Polish dog.
Dang.
It's
Yeah.
awesome.
I did not know about this. Dude, I need to get to the Pacific
And
Northwest.
If it sounds
I'm here.
gross,
Wait, hold on.
just taste it. Yeah, no, it's
it
amazing.
doesn't sound gross at all. That's up my alley.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Seattle Dog, Ivers, the Marionberry wings, Marionberry from Oregon, so we really try and stay true to form on the menu in terms of Pacific Northwest. So, and then the teriyaki is our highlight. So, that's a bad boy.
So if you want a taste of Seattle with sunshine, come on
Correct.
down to Wicked Rain.
Look at that. Look at the
and
balance.
Gilbert, No, man, this is fantastic. Nice job with this place, Steven. Thanks for continuing to encourage us to get this put
100%,
together,
yeah.
man.
Love it.
I'm glad we did it.
There's more food over there. So if that is any indication,
Beecher's mac and cheese. That's another banger.
What is that?
Beecher's mac and cheese. Yeah, that's a Seattle thing too. So it's just this thick and creamy mac. We do baked breadcrumbs on the top.
Yeah.
And throw it in the oven, and it's phenomenal.
Dang. Do you know George Fraser? Have you ever heard of Fraser's? Frasher. So he used to have it was Fraser's Tavern or something on Scottsdale Road for like 20 years. Now he has Fraser's Smokehouse. Now he has a Fraser's Tavern in Old Town. He has there's a Miss Chicken, I think. Anyways, he's a restaurateur. He's been here since like the mid 90s from St. Louis. But a lot of what he does out here is he gets like the St. Louis cheese shipped here, right?
Okay.
He gets specific ravioli that his mom like flies out once a month and she brings boxes. So he brings St. Louis to Phoenix, and that sounds it's the same. It's like you're not replicating it. Like you're like no. no one does it better than Beecher's. Let's bring in Beecher's, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
No, we're not trying to reinvent anything here.
Yeah.
I mean, we know what's good. We're just going to get it here and sell it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not trying to redo anything. Toshi's teriyaki is one of the best teriyaki spots ever in Seattle, winning a million awards, and we get their sauce.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you know what's good, why are we gonna, screw with it? So yeah.
Do people come in sometimes? Have you had that? They're like, "Oh shit, dude, you got Toshi's."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They're like, "Oh, like."
I say the word Toshi's, and their eyes just like, what?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great.
Dude, that's awesome. Man. All right. Well, I think we lost video. The camera couldn't keep up with this amazing conversation. So
It taps out.
Yeah. So Tony, once again, thank you so much. Thank you to your team here. Your wife, what's her name? Catherine. Thank you for working her ass. She made sure that she didn't get in front of the camera.
Yeah, you saw that.
This actually could be the
she was very
perfect
strategic.
opportunity. We could tell her that the camera's off, and she didn't want to put on the microphone. Awesome, dude. Well, thank you so much. I think I'm going to try one more beer. I want to try one of those Black Ravens.
Yeah.
The pale ale.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, got to. But Tony, thanks again, dude.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate it, man.
There we go.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
How do people find you? What's the website?
You can go to wickedrain.com, and then we're on all the social pages.
Excellent.
Facebook, Instagram, the whole deal. So
Awesome,
Flatbreads
Tony.
and beer.
Appreciate you, dude.
Yeah.
I love this place.
this is great. I'm glad we were able to make this happen.
Absolutely, man.
Y cuando se va de casa